Hello beautiful people. It's Mai here from Nintendo Life. We interrupt to bring you some breaking news. Nintendo Life's review of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is just in and we're excited. Now that you're up to date, it's over to real life Mai.
Hello beautiful people, it's Mai here from Nintendo Life, and today we're reviewing Tomodachi Life Living the Dream on the Nintendo Switch. This review was originally written by the ever wonderful Alana Higgs and made into a video by yours truly. Now without further ado, let's get stuck in. If you have no idea what Tomodachi Life is like, that wee news segment is a good little snippet. This isn't a life sim, it's more like a simplistic, absurdist Nintendo-esque take on The Sims. You are the master of your own island, which you populate with me's of all kinds. Yourself, real-life family members, friends, celebrities, or just characters from TV shows and media you love. Or hate. Add more me's to your island and you unlock more stores and buildings, plus your island will gradually get bigger, allowing you to place more decorations and continue creating the most chaotic set of island residents imaginable. This is all about creating me's and letting them live their lives. Oh, and what silly lives they lead. Living the Dream started off as one of the funniest video games we've ever played. The laughter starts at minute 1, where you're creating your own me and messing around with the voice filters. The me creator is absurdly detailed, with hundreds of options and the ability to draw in your character's face. More on that later though. But the voices, when you start giving your character tones that make them sound like everything's a question, or speak so high-pitched you can't understand a word they're saying, now that's when the uncontrollable giggles kick in. As we began to populate our island, we got to witness some of the most absurdly funny interactions. We snorted way too many times at the bizarre dreams our me's were having. Seances with rabbits, corals or shells, spring rides through safari parks, and even an avalanche of chocolate chip cakes. One time, some me's gathered at the local restaurant and a sitcom-like scenario would play out. It's like being in a Nathan Fielder show, except you're sort of in control of what happens. And that's the thing, Living the Dream is much more interactive than Tomodachi Life was on 3DS. Me's will actually walk around the island now and talk to other me's themselves. You can pick them up and take them to any place of your choosing, have them stare at trees or use vending machines, or sit at tables on their own. You can pet them on the head or give them food or new clothes to make them happy too. Raising happiness is the one thing you really want to do in Living the Dream, as doing so gives you wishes, which you can spend at the wishing fountain. The best way to do this is to figure out what kind of clothes, gifts, or foods each me likes, which is basically trial and error, or to solve their troubles by talking to them when they have a little bubble above their heads. There is a rhythm to Living the Dream, a kind of short session game where we'll load up our island, see what new food items the shop has, how much money we'll spend on clothes, and go around and fix me's problems by feeding them what they want or getting them to make friends with another resident. Sometimes we'll play a mini game with a few of them, like bowling or what's missing. Or we can just muck about. In my case, I can drag my me to hang out with Shrek and talk about how a banana and floppy disk are two sides of the same coin. Or Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3 can go over to Serena, or Usagi, from Sailor Moon and ride a seesaw together. Romances, marriages, and relationships can flourish or fizzle out with a little encouragement. You can even draw an approximation of your cat as a me or as a treasure to give to another resident. Now you can see via the footage that much like Alana, I'm not an artist. But you don't have to be good at drawing to design a hilarious congregation of me's. A huge shout out to Tomodachi Share for buckets and buckets of inspiration here. In fact, the creativity is incredible across the board. Not only can you draw your me's face, but you can actually design structures, create interiors and exteriors for your me's houses, design your own food, books and video games, and even create custom pathways. You can use the touchscreen for all of these things, and for a few other moments in game, like petting your me's and using the in-game keyboard. But the touchscreen functionality is weirdly limited. You can't use it to pick up your me's or decorate your island in build mode. You can't even use it in most menus. It's a bizarre choice, which extends the lack of mouse mode implementation on Switch 2. It's good that Living the Dream looks great on both Switch 1 and and 2, with the latter getting a resolution boost, but at least on the new console, we're surprised the game runs at 30 FPS. It's a little jarring, especially in some of the dream sequences where it drops frames thanks to some of the high-octane falling action, which you'll need to see to understand. Perhaps a Switch 2 patch is incoming, and we hope Nintendo at least adds mouse mode and perhaps expands the number of Miis we can have on the island. Currently it's at 70, down from 100 on the 3DS. Back to build mode. This was one of our favourite parts of the preview period, but as we unlocked more and more decorations, the variety felt a little limited. We still redecorate and rearrange our island frequently thanks to how simple it is, but it's here where we start to see our issues with the game. Because without the customization options, Living the Dream is basically an elaborate game of watching goldfish and imagining personalities for them. And that's been a struggle for us. As funny as the game can be, and sometimes still is, the novelty of the bizarre hijinks wore off at about 10 hours. We're at more than triple that now. We've seen at least 5 different Miis ride a spring bear in front of a realistic photo of a lion, we've watched multiple residents get stuck in a hiccup rut, and we might get a new cutscene every so often if we drag 2 Miis together, but they also might just walk off and chat together. Even if we unlock new buildings and get a few new cutscenes and interactions, or got Miis to move in together, we felt like we were falling into the same rhythms all the time. Poke and prod Miis, drag them around, feed them, create a new Mii, get them integrated, and so on and so forth. We got bored of the loop, which the short play sessions helped with, but it sometimes felt meaningless. Trying to get certain Miis to fall in love, especially the more Miis you have, sometimes felt a little hit and miss. In fact, relationships are another area where Living the Dream has made big strides forwards. The game has no restrictions on gender or relationships, to the point where you essentially have Arrow Ace Miis who just want to be friends and live together. That, plus the addition of a non-binary gender option, choice of pronouns, and a lack of clothing restrictions means this is a win for everyone. Creating a plethora of Miis has been a bit of a tonic for us over the past few weeks, and is the most surprising thing we love about Living the Dream. But once that creative process is over, despite all the improvements the game makes over the original Tomodachi Life, we feel ourselves slipping back into that rhythm that has worn us out a little. For as many times as we've laughed, we sat blank-faced, trying to figure out whether our Mii likes fried spring rolls or milkshakes. We wish it's an experience we could share with others a little easier too, but with the online restrictions, including restricting sharing Miis, which we do understand, it feels a lot more solitary than it should. Unlocking new things brings a little spark too, but we'd say we've been living the nice life rather than living the dream, and that's okay. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is the strangest thing you'll play from Nintendo, bringing with it laughs and creativity in abundance. But even with improvements over the 3DS game, it follows a familiar structure that isn't always enthralling or hilarious. Tomodachi fans will certainly be living the dream with this new entry, but we're not desperate to keep coming back to our island. A little more variety would have been welcome, but the customization and the thought of a cat being best friends with Shrek will have us peeping every so often for a little pick-me-up. We here at Nintendo Life give Tomodachi Life Living the Dream a 7 out of 10. Now it's time for Mai's thoughts. Me. So I did the preview of Tomodachi Life a few weeks back, maybe a month ago. Time's a funny wibbly wobbly thing, and I really enjoyed the game. But to be honest, I have to disagree with Alana's review, which I'm sure quite a few people might. No offense, Alana, sorry. But I genuinely loved Tomodachi Life Living the Dream and my time with it. Yes, I dipped off it for a little while and I would only go in every so often just so I wouldn't be burnt out. However, every time I did jump back in, I really enjoyed it. And even though my playtimes were a little bit short, I did actually find myself playing for about 3 or 4 hours straight, doing some really stupid things and keeping myself incredibly busy the more Miis I made. I'm so happy with the amount of Miis that we can make. However, having not played the original Tomodachi Life back on the 3DS, or at least not to a massive extent that other people have, to me 70 is enough. But if it goes up to 100, great. Cool, fab. More cursed me's galore. I've sort of got to a point in my Tomodachi Life journey where I'm making less people that I know IRL and now trying to think of more silly and cursed me's to create. Like I made, which I was quite proud of. I'm not an artist whatsoever at all, as I've said in this video. I made Sailor Moon, which I was quite surprised I managed to make. Thankfully, I was able to make the eyes with the stamp, so it made it a little bit easier and kind of changed the coloring a little bit. But making things like Shrek and there's a few others that I have plans to make thanks to the lovely world of social media and seeing really cursed things, which now I can make because I don't think they'd be very suitable to view in this video, especially some of the things in the vocabulary and expressions of the me's I've had to not include in this video because I'm a silly person with a silly sense of humor. Another big reason why I personally really enjoy Tomodachi Life is because, yeah, I gotten, much like many people, burnt out by Animal Crossing. I'm not comparing Tomodachi Life to Animal Crossing. However, the burnout was getting quite close, which is why I kind of dropped off a little bit of Tomodachi Life. However, I feel like with this, I don't mind having it on the background and watching my me's do whatever. I did feel guilty that it did tell me I hadn't been on for 16 days, so I've not really had the time to kind of jump back into Tomodachi Life as often as I liked. Saying that, although I did take some rather healthy time off to focus on other games for some upcoming videos, I have enjoyed jumping back in. And I think that's how Tomodachi Life is supposed to be played. You're not really supposed to be playing like I did 10-15 hours within the first weekend that it came out. You can play that way if you like, but I think it's intended to kind of play it little and often or in moderation. So that's exactly what I'll be doing from this moment forward. Although before I do that, I will definitely make some more silly me's, at least get to my limit, who knows, do a little bit more decorating every so often, and certainly add some expressions and other bits and bobs which will surprise future Mai.